Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. See you again with me, Mrs. Diaz. To- Today, I'm going to teach you about language descriptions related to ESP. This is our fourth meeting, and we're gonna discuss about this. By the way, I've already shared this material in Google Classroom. Okay, let's start from beginning. Language descriptions. You can also get this material completely in book that I've already shared in Google Classroom. But these are the points. In language descriptions, we're going to talk about classical or traditional grammar, structure linguistics, transformational grammar, language variations, and register analysis, functional or notional syllabus, discourse or rhetorical analysis. Let's talk about the first point about classical or traditional grammar. Description of English and other languages were based on the grammars of the classical languages. It can be Greek and Latin. And this description were based on an analysis of the role played by each word in the sentence. Languages were described in this way because the classical L were case-based L, where the grammatical function of each word in the sentence was made apparent by the use of appropriate inflections. The form of a word would change according to whether it was a subject, object, indirect object, and so on. And the influence of classical grammar has never been strong. So that was classical grammar or traditional grammar. Now we are going to go to the second point, that is structural linguistics. The structure or slot and filler form of L description will be familiar to most L teachers as a result of the enormous influence it has had on L teaching since the Second World War. In a structural description, the grammar of L is described in terms of syntagmatic structures which carry the fundamental proportions: statement, interrogative, negative, imperative, and notions: time, number, gender, etc. Next, the third point is transformational generative grammar. Chomsky argued in syntactic structure that structural description was superficial because it only described the surface structure of the L and thus could not explain relationship of meaning which were quite clearly there, but which were not realized in the surface structure. And in the early stages of its development, ESP, English for Specific Purposes, put most emphasis on describing the performance needed for communication in the target situation and paid little attention to the competence underlying it. The fourth point, language variation and register analysis. The concept of L variation gave rise to the type of ESP which was based on analysis. If L, yeah, language, varies according to the text, it was argued, then it should be possible to identify the kind of L associated with a specific context, such as an area of knowledge, legal English, social English, medical English, and business English. Functional or notional grammar. It means that function here are concerned with social behavior and represent the intention of the speaker or writer. For instance, advising, warning, threatening, and describing. Function here means structure plus context. And notion reflects the ways in which the human being mind thinks. Okay, let's go to discourse analysis. By the way, I've already talked about this. If I'm not mistaken, last week it's about discourse analysis, but a little bit. So DA, discourse analysis, it emphasizes on how meaning is generated between sentences. The context is important in creating meaning. The change of meaning is influenced by sociolinguistic context, who is speaking to whom and why. The meaning changes according to the relationship between the participants in the dialogue and according to the reason for speaking. So there are only 9 slides for this, but language description, and hopefully it can help you understand about language description of ESP. And don't forget how many points for language description. Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are they? Classical or traditional grammar, structural linguistics, transformational grammar, language variation, and register analysis, functional or notional syllabus, and the last is discourse rhetorical analysis. Hopefully, this video can be useful for you. I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much for attention and for watching my video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you next week.